Alright, so here's just a little quick video I'll go over with you guys about these torsion bars. So if you have an old Mustang, Cougar, or, well, I don't know what all the other classic cars, but I'm sure there's others that use these spring or sprung torsion bars. And if you've ever had to remove them or install them, you know the pain they are. Well, have no fear, because there's an easy tool that makes it not as much of a headache to install, and that would be this bad boy. So yours probably won't need to be bent. I'll go over why I bent mine in a second, but it's really simple. You want an end that's notched, which you can do this by, well, you could file it if you really want to. You could use a burr tool, like one of those carbide bits, or you can do the easy method, which this one already had a punched hole in it, but you drill a hole, cut in half, or towards the end, so there's an opening. And voila. Then you want to take your rod, your small end, which is this end that hooks back here. And I'm sure there's instructionals online, but I'm just doing a quick video of it because I just had to go through it. You pretty much lay your rod in your groove, right here, sorry about the camera. So you lay your rod in the groove with the open end, the hooked end, pointed back this way. And just kind of, you can see where I marked it, and then I realized that that was a bad idea. You pretty much just lay it where it comes up, over, and then back down, and you lay it up against your metal bar stock. You just run a Sharpie circle and you drill a hole. Now, something I messed up on making this tool that I should have, well, I didn't really think about it when I did it. Lesson learned as I was trying to use it. I over drilled my hole by a lot. Try to get it pretty close, and the reason for that is, I'll use this little spout here as a reference. The way you do it is the way you use it is, you hook up here. Oh, there we go. Hook up there, and you put the back of the rod through the hole, like so. And well, with it sloppy like that, what it allows this tool to do, because remember this is under spring pressure, when you're trying to use the tool, it wants to kick the tool like that. So using a fairly wide bar stock and drilling the hole close to sized, you make it where it doesn't kick over as much, and it'll allow you to control it a little better. The way I can fix this one later is just get a piece of a spacer bushing and weld it on, or I could weld this shut and re-drill it. But anyways, so on to my issue with why I had to bend this. So if you have mini tubs, yeah, this tool is a straight rod. You can't really get close enough to that rod with the mini tub sticking out as far as it does. So you have to put a bend in it so it clears. Makes it a little bit more awkward, and which, like I said, makes it more prone to kicking, you know, like this. These were a pain to get on. Really is a whole lot easier if you don't have the gas tank in already. So you can stand in there. I had to lay in here, which wasn't the easiest or the prettiest thing to look at, but I had to lay inside of my trunk, and I would suggest using some PPE. These things are sprung pressure when you're setting them. If it slips off this tool or off these little notches for any reason, you want to be somewhat protected. So, of course, my genius self didn't do that. One of the guys that has a video on YouTube actually took it and he had safety glasses, a face shield, and earplugs. Because it is loud when it slips off, and it did slip off. Luckily, I had my hand on it, because I was somewhat safe about it. I kept my more sensitive bodily pieces and parts covered, and I kept my hand close to it as I was tensioning it where possible. If I needed both hands on the bar, I put my forearm up in the way so that if the rod kicked off, it would hit off my forearm and not me in the face. But anyways, that's it. It's just a simple piece of bar stock, notch, a hole, and voila. Or you could go the route that I plan to go in the future and just get the shot conversion. But anyways, I got my gas cap was Cerakoted. This cylinder was Cerakoted, don't know how long it'll last. This was painted until I didn't have this adjusted right and scraped off the paint. But now My weather stripping is on. Tip for weather stripping, if you don't already know, or learn the hard way like I did, or if you are smart enough to go watch the video of how to do weather stripping properly, you don't want to run a thick bead or whatever of the weather strip adhesive. You run a very, very fine bead, and then you take an acid brush or a popsicle stick or something and pretty much spread it smooth. And you do the same thing on the gasket, and you wait for it to tack. And once it tacks, you stick it together, and it pretty much is fairly cured. I mean, you still want to tape around it and let it sit, but it sticks a whole hell of a lot better if you have it real thin, let it tack, and then press it on. I was doing it by myself, so it was kind of hard to get this situated and do it thin and on the gasket itself. Anyways, so yeah, this gasket needs to crush down a bit for it to get to where this trunk will stay closed easy. I have to pretty much slam it for the time being because it is pretty snug. I'm hoping it sits, because right now it's, you know, it's not much of a straight edge, but you get the picture, you can see an air gap. It's like that pretty much all the way around, sitting a little high. Hopefully it flattens out some. All of these pretty little things. So these are my Cerakoted door handles. Cerakoted black, and I didn't think to coat the backside, so the backside is still kind of brushed or sandblasted. Cerakoted cylinders, and these little cheapy China door locks. I have new latches on the way, and I had actually ordered new cylinders because I lost one. Guess what? I found it. I posted a comment in the last video, but found my door cylinder. It was actually in the bag for the trunk parts, because for whatever reason, I think I had test fitted in the door because I'd heard that these cutouts weren't always perfect and you might have to file it. So I think I pulled a cylinder out to test both doors before I epoxied them. And I set it on my shelf of parts over there. And later on, I was like, hey, you know, I need to put this in a bag so I don't lose it. So I tossed it in the closest bag around, which happened to be the trunk parts, because I was messing with the trunk at the time. And that bag was sitting on the shelf as well. So that's where that mix-up happened. But yeah, found my cylinder. Guess what else I found? Yeah, you probably don't see it glancing either, which it's a little bit more visible now because you can see the shim. But look what I didn't throw away. They were sitting in the car and just blending with this matte 66 that's black, so I didn't see them. So yeah, I have my original strikes as well. This side still wants to shut perfect on that first latch, but the second catch, it wants to hang. So I'm just gonna wait for my latches to come in and see if it fixes it, because there was one other issue I had with my doors that I didn't remember, which was when you lock the driver's side. See if I can do this. You see how high it sits? Roughly to that knuckle line, whatever, just for a reference, because I don't feel like getting a tape measure. When you lock it, when you go to unlock it, oh, now it's gonna work. No way. All right, there it is. So sometimes when you unlock it, it would do this little half lock. And it would not come up all the way. And you'd have to fight it to get it to unlatch. But yeah, I used to have to deal with that all the time with the car. It was a pain. But yeah, this back end looks quite nice, all blacked out, murdered out, whatever you want to call it. I like the way these taillight bezels came out. I like the way those cylinders look for the time being until they get scraped away from using the key so much. And this gas cap, I kind of like the way it looks with it blacked. I had seen Scott Drake had a black gas cap, not that weird billet one with all the bolt heads around it that's like black and red. I don't really care for that. But I saw one online a while back and I can't for the life of me find it. I don't think they sell it. I think it said that they built it for a customer. Like they had a special item. So, I don't know. Maybe they'll put one out eventually. Probably about the time that I'm no longer doing the whole blacked out car thing, whenever I actually get paint on it. And it will be all just billet aluminum brushed stuff then. Yeah, that's it. I'm done with this video. I made it too long already. So, yeah, trunk's on. Door hardware's on. Waiting on latches. I ordered a new cylinder set. Won't be using them yet. I'll use them later on whenever I paint the car. Probably they'll just stay in a box. And some other miscellaneous hardware. This trunk looks rough. I know it's scratched up from sitting around, and it's got a million little pinholes all over the place. It's not gonna focus worth a damn. Yeah, whole bunch of pinholes all over the place from where I did shitty body work. But yeah, it still needs a lot more body work, and for whatever reason, I had trash get in the paint when it was sitting. There's another one right here. I don't know what this is. That shouldn't be rust coming through already, but I don't remember there being an indentation there. But there's definitely a hump there, like something hit from the underside, but there's no mark or dent from the underside. So I don't know. I'll end up having to body work it more, but I don't have time to right now because cruising is a month away now, roughly. So I've got to hurry up and get door glass in, finished up. I'm buffing those right now, and then I'm gonna be tinting them afterwards, but I'm buffing all the glass, cleaning them. I got all the chrome trim around the glass painted black. This upper trim, all that, rear windows as well, all of it's epoxied. I gotta get the door glass in, I gotta take it to get windows put in, I have to get it aligned still, I have to finish my intake piping still. I have to get my weather stripping trim pieces down from up there that goes along this and figure out how the hell those go in. I think I have the hardware to do that and the weather stripping, I just gotta remember how to do it. Yeah, a lot to do in a month's time. And I still have these valences, that and this, just strip and epoxy. I was gonna take it to sandblasters. I don't know if I'm going to now. I might just strip it this weekend by hand, get the grinder with the paint stripper disc, and just go to work on it. But I still have to unmask the engines, go back to work on the intake stuff too. So, but it's hot, I'm hungry. Calling it a night or a day, whatever. And I'll get back to work on it this weekend. Hopefully I'll have those valences done, and I'll have the glass finished buffing and maybe tinted this weekend. I doubt I'll have it installed, but yeah. That's it, guys. Car's coming together slowly but surely. Thanks for watching. Later.